Moments ago, the United States Navy delivered a decisive blow against a Chinese warship in the contested waters of the South China Sea. The explosion, captured by surveillance and eyewitnesses, has sent shockwaves across the globe. This is not just another naval skirmish, this could be the spark that changes the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. Stay tuned, because in this video we're going to unpack exactly what happened, why it matters, and what it could mean for the future of US-China relations. The South China Sea, a body of water that has become one of the most volatile flashpoints in the world. Rich in resources, crisscrossed by vital shipping lanes, and surrounded by overlapping territorial claims, this region is often called the powder keg of Asia. For years, both the United States and China have flexed their naval muscles here. The US frames its presence as freedom of navigation operations, while Beijing insists it is defending its sovereignty. But today's incident is unlike anything we've seen before. A Chinese warship didn't just get shadowed or warned off, it was obliterated. According to initial reports, a U.S. Navy destroyer, armed with advanced long-range missiles, targeted and struck a Chinese Type 052D guided missile destroyer. The Chinese vessel was patrolling near disputed reefs when the U.S. vessel intercepted it. Within seconds, a precision strike hit the warship's forward section, igniting a massive fireball that tore through its hull. Eyewitnesses described the explosion as a sun on the sea, with plumes of black smoke visible from miles away. The Chinese crew scrambled to contain the damage, but it was too late. Within minutes, the ship listed heavily to one side, its systems offline, its weapons silent. The warship sank beneath the waves, marking one of the most dramatic naval confrontations in decades. News of the strike spread instantly. Social media lit up with videos of the burning ship. Hashtags like hashtag South China Sea, hashtag US vs China, and hashtag warship explosion began trending worldwide. In Washington, officials described the event as an act of defense, claiming the Chinese vessel made hostile maneuvers. In Beijing, the rhetoric was fiery. Government spokespeople called it an unprovoked act of aggression and vowed retaliation. Across the world, capitals from Moscow to London to Tokyo scrambled to assess the fallout. Was this the beginning of a regional war? Or would cooler heads prevail? Let's take a step back and understand what made this possible. The U.S. Navy destroyer likely used a SM-6 or Tomahawk missile, both of which can strike with pinpoint accuracy from long distances. These weapons are designed not just to hit targets, but to annihilate them. The Chinese warship, the Type 052D Luoyang 3 class destroyer, is one of Beijing's most modern surface combatants. Equipped with phased array radar, long-range missiles, and anti-air systems, it is often called the backbone of the People's Liberation Army Navy. But today, that backbone was broken in front of the entire world. Why does this matter so much? Because the South China Sea is not just about water. It's about power. Nearly $3 trillion worth of global trade passes through this region annually. Whoever controls it holds immense leverage over the world economy. China has been building artificial islands, militarizing reefs, and expanding its naval presence for years. The US, meanwhile, has sought to counterbalance this by deploying aircraft carriers, destroyers, and submarines. Today's clash was not accidental, it was the culmination of years of escalating military experts warn that this could trigger a chain reaction. China cannot afford to appear weak. Losing a warship without a response could damage its credibility both at home and abroad. The US, on the other hand, insists it will not back down from defending international waters. Could this lead to more naval battles? Could it spark air clashes between US and Chinese fighter jets? And the scariest question of all, could it spiral into open war between two nuclear-armed superpowers? We've seen similar flashpoints in history. The Gulf of Tonkin incident in 1964 escalated US involvement in Vietnam. The sinking of the Argentine cruiser General Belgrano by a British submarine in 1982 reshaped the Falklands War. Naval confrontations have a history of igniting larger conflicts. Today's strike could join that list. On the streets of Beijing, nationalism is running high. Citizens are demanding revenge, with state media broadcasting fiery speeches. In the US, some see this as a necessary show of strength, while others fear it's a step too far. The internet is flooded with speculation. Some claim this was a warning shot to China. Others believe it's the opening act of World War III. Defense analysts argue that both nations may try to control the narrative. The US will emphasize self-defense, while China may exaggerate the incident to rally domestic support. Professor Mark Hastings, a naval strategist, warns, this is not just about one ship. It's about credibility. If China responds, the US will respond again. And in that spiral, nobody wins. 1. Diplomatic de-escalation. Back-channel talks calm the situation. Both sides agree to investigate and quietly move on. 2. Military retaliation. China responds by striking a US vessel or base in the Pacific. 3. Regional crisis. Allies like Japan, South Korea, and Australia are drawn in. The South China Sea becomes a war zone. 4. Global shockwaves. Markets crash, oil prices spike, and the world braces for a larger confrontation. Closing. Dramatic ending. As the wreckage of the Chinese warship rests beneath the South China Sea, the world holds its breath. Was this just a clash